This is Nicole.
And this is Samantha.
With the power of we. We are here to switch it up and teach you about business, relationships, and how to not only survive but make it in Los Angeles.
In each episode, we will have top influential guests from the world of real estate. We work hard,
We stage hard.
and we get it done.
The power of we. How are you doing on this beautiful day?
Oh my God. Amazing, amazing.
I'm just so grateful to be in this room and here on earth and just sober and happy, and it's just such a great life we live. I just couldn't be more thankful.
I am so grateful too. I mean, first of all, I cannot believe I hit one of my bucket lists and buying a house in Palm Springs.
And I'm so proud of you. That's absolutely incredible. It was
Jesus.
beautiful.
It was so fun to do, and it's just so nice to have a different place. And also, we're so used to staging for everyone else, and then doing my own house with you guys. It was like, what the hell is going on here?
I know. It's just such a full circle moment, because we used to go to Palm Springs growing up, and everything just really comes full circle in the end.
And it's, totally. That's exactly what I want to say. Everything comes back full circle. I'm so grateful for so much in my life. And we have gone through so much together. Mm-hmm. Craziness, ups and downs, drinking, sobriety. And we've met some incredible people.
Speaking of full circle, we have an incredible guest here today, one of my close friends. And his name is Lil Texas. If you guys don't know who that is, I'm sure you do. Lil Texas has become a new household name for speed freaks around the world. A master collaborator, Lil Texas consistently links with forward-thinking acts in dance music and beyond. He's released music alongside Kaizo, Dorian Electra, Deadly Guns, and many other across the variety of styles. Through his unconventional approach to music, he's inspired artists who've never delved into hardcore before to join the Texcore movement. Welcome, Lil Texas.
Woo! Little Texas. Honestly, I've never met anyone like you. Ever. But you know what? With all this tattoos and all that you're doing, you have so much freaking class. I want to tell you. And, we met, through Nicole, and it's just been to watch you, listeners, if you're out there, he had a dream. He had a dream to come here and be who he is. How the frick did you do that?
A lot of trials and tribulations, but a lot of hard work, and just setting a goal and working hard towards that goal.
Yeah.
So if they don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about your music. Tell us a little bit about what you're all about.
Well, I'm a hardcore hardstyle DJ and electronic music producer. So producer DJ. I'm in the electronic dance music industry, and I do that full time. That's been my career for going on 5 years now.
It's incredible.
Yeah, thank you. And I moved to LA to chase the dream, and here we are. And it's been really fun, and I've gotten to be myself and be extreme and sort of push boundaries and be on the fringe of the electronic dance music
The regular
scene.
DJ.
Yeah, and that's me at my core.
And have you gotten a lot of bad press from it? How do you handle? I mean, you're extreme. I will say that.
Oh yeah.
But it's you look like you're having a ball. Doesn't he look like he's having a ball up
you
there?
you push the boundaries, right?
Yeah,
so
of course.
How does that work inside? Because a lot of people find that really hard to do. So what gives you that strength to do that?
I've always kind of been that way, that I've never really been it sounds a little corny, but a mainstream type of guy.
Right.
I've always been interested in things that are out on the fringe, things that are sort of counterculture. Mm-hmm. That's just been a part of my life since I was a very young child, in fact.
Wow.
So it was the first thing you remember?
I just remember being really, really into the nu metal movement of the late 90s.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And so when I was, and I mean, it was pretty popular back then, but
Right.
even so, I was into bands that were, dark and alternative and on the fringe of popular music, you know? So I think it really did start there with like my affinity for like bands like Korn and Slipknot, and then like the punk rock thing that was happening back then.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And so I don't know if I was early in that. I can't really tell, but I definitely was attracted to things that were a little bit out there, you know? And while they were popular, I still think that starting there sort of allowed me to dive even deeper into that stuff.
Yeah.
At least when I was a little kid. And so, yeah, I think bringing that into my brand and being on the fringe, like I'm just not a like go in the middle type of guy, you know?
Really? You don't say.
And so I think if I tried to do that, I don't think it would click. I think that a guy like me has to be on the fringe, has to kind of be out there. And so to get to do that, I'm absolutely having a blast, like you said. Like when I'm doing what I'm doing,
but
I love the
there's a
music.
lot of people out there that are like you. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I watch your shows and there's 8 zillion people. I'm like, what is going on here? I mean, how many shows are you doing? Are you doing one every week or?
Yeah, pretty much. Since January, I've had one weekend off. So I think we've done like 30 plus shows. I think 4 different countries. No, more than that, but 5 or 6 countries. Europe and America. As far
So
as
you're
the
always on the move, you know, always in the party scene, right? Like around a bunch of crazy shit. How do you balance that like level of you're sober, right?
Yes.
So how do you balance that sobriety and like kind of like use that to even be better in your music?
You know, people ask me all the time. They go, "Oh, that must be so hard. Oh, that must be so hard to be in that environment." And I always tell them, like, actually, it's not.
Yeah.
Initially, there was like, you know, a learning phase where it was, you know, a little bit uncomfortable going into those situations and not, you know, partaking in the things that I used to partake in. But at this point in my life, I have so much to lose.
Yeah.
And if I draw a link back to like, not, you know, getting really, you know, screwed up on drugs and partying and then cleaning up, like if I draw the line, my life after getting cleaned up is just, it's just so indicative of the success that was the catalyst to what I get to do today.
Right. Look, I don't think your career would be where it is today if you were still doing drugs.
No, exactly.
Right.
There's like a hinge. There's like a turning point, you know?
Yeah, it's like you clicked in the key and now you're raring to go.
Yeah, and I don't want to give it up.
Like a bullet.
Yeah, and I just don't want to give that up. There's no... Been there, done that.
Right.
I really don't need it at this point. And
well, that's amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And it gives you something that I like really respect about you is you have so much like determination. Like, you know, you go to the gym every day. You really get your shit done. You like book out your time. You're very organized. And like was
you're
that
so
always
busy. Thank you for coming on
No,
here.
of course.
This is so
It's always a
fun.
pleasure to, you know, spread some positivity and spread some motivation.
Right.
Yeah. And what motivates you?
Growth. You know, I just want to, you know, be better. I want to be better, and it's in 2 aspects. There's the like sort of 3D world, ego, individuation, like make yourself successful, get a nice house, you know, start a family, have nice things, and be successful. That is such a big part of happiness and growth.
That's true.
While it is not everything, there's also like, you know, the 4D, 5D spiritual, you know, other side of the component that's a little bit not worldly. It's not like the material stuff.
No,
and so
it's the spirituality.
Yeah, both of those things motivate me, and it's like I want to be that like full-bodied individual who's, you know, both sides, you know, sort of the yin and yang coming in as one.
Well,
kind of thing.
You're with this is so
I want to see how high I can get.
Oh,
you
you're
know?
gonna get high, trust me. I
Yeah.
can see it. But you're with so much energy all the time, and sometimes like she's a highly sensitive person. I'm not. I can be with a lot of different individuals, but I'll tell you, when I come back from Vegas, I feel the energy.
Yeah.
And especially, you know, when you're sober. So you deal with all these people. What do you do to clear your head? Do you meditate? Do you what do you do?
Yeah, you know, it's like a daily sort of practice that I don't do perfectly, but for me there's like 4 components to life, and it's, you know, physical health, mental health, and then like sort of the spiritual type health. And I use the word spiritual. I don't have a better word, but I think it's a good enough word to describe what I'm talking about. So whatever your affiliations are, I'm talking about, you know, that kind of notion. And then there's like my creative health, you know? And so those 4 aspects of my life, I try to like take care of those. And I've just seen that a daily practice in those areas seems to yield results.
Oh my God, 100,000%. I know when she's off her spiritual track or anything, I can tell. When I'm off, she's like, "Oh, Mom, please meditate, do something."
Yeah, and I think meditation is, I think that the like sort of Eastern sort of thing with meditation and sort of a reflection back into consciousness, sort of trying to turn consciousness on itself, notions of sort of dissolving even the concept of a self or an I, you know, at least momentarily. I think that there's empirical evidence over the course of the, you know, centuries that is a process, and not even in a mystical way, in a very logical, rational way, that process, and it's via meditation. I think that's a very good vessel, that it works.
Yeah.
And in fact, they're doing a lot of, I'm reading a book by Sam Harris, Waking Up, and they're doing a ton of scientific research that processes like meditation actually like lower activity in the DSM, which is the part of the brain that makes you feel crazy, that makes you feel unsettled, that you know, causes entropy inside the mind.
Right.
And so processes like meditation lower that. And also there's just empirical evidence that people who meditate are nicer. They're more
Your
content.
day just gets started. You feel good. I don't know for anyone else, but for me, it's like my head is calm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I would say there's so many different ways you can meditate. For me, I do like to do the, you know, shut your eyes type deal.
Of course.
But a lot of people like can go on walks and that can be a meditation, or ride their bike, and there's just different ways to go inward.
Yeah, and I think it's connecting with the moment, you know, because it's always now, you know?
And it's talking to the universe.
And that's something we were
also.
talking about. Like, we're always in the now, and like there's so many times, like, especially our minds, we have like 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. So you want to think about the past or the future, or what is going to happen, or what might happen, or just like go into that like craziness. But like just being in the now brings you to like the moment you're in. It makes you realize like everything's okay. Like focus on your breath. And I feel like that's what meditation is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's certainly a serious power in that.
Yeah.
And I've experienced it in my life, but it's an experiential thing. Like we have to do it, you know? And I think a lot of people get a little, you know, they're like, "Oh, that sounds so like new agey or whatever." And I'm like, maybe, but like do it and you'll see.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think centuries of people who've been doing this stuff are wrong. Right. You know?
And then if you're doing something you love, like when you're on stage, I bet you're so in the now, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like,
there's
that's
no
like a
no
meditation.
thoughts.
Wow, that's I can't even imagine being in front of all those people. I mean, Nicole and I went to London and we spoke in front of, I don't know, 400 or 500 people.
That's a lot.
And
Yeah.
and
I was terrified.
We were jet lagged like crazy.
Yeah.
And Nicole's like, "Can I have it?" She sat down on the chair where I had to do the speech, and let me just tell you, my jumpsuit has a big rip in the hole in my ass. So I had to keep my jacket on.
Oh,
it
no.
was a disaster, but we ended up killing it.
That's awesome.
But it was
I also
like,
feel like, you know how she was talking about highly sensitive people?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's different people take on energy different ways. So some people like you, I would assume, like thrive off of a lot of people and a lot of energy.
Oh, of course,
And
yeah.
like kind of it feeds you. Other people like need a little more like, you know, space, and then like
course,
it doesn't feed them, it more drains them. So I feel like kind of finding what it is for you, because for you that's something that you thrive off.
Yeah, I love performing. I always have.
Yeah.
I just genuinely enjoy it.
Were you the one when you were a kid, like you just wanted to perform for everyone? And
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm 5'8", you know what I mean? So I got a little
That's
chip.
so funny.
I got a chip on my shoulder, so I got to prove
Right.
myself, you know what I mean? There's certainly something there.
and wait, are you performing all over the world or just in LA?
Yeah, all over the-
want to know more about you.
Yeah,
When's
all
your
over the
next show?
world. Well, I was just in Austin this weekend, Austin, Texas. It was good. I'm playing in Cologne and Stuttgart this weekend
That's
in Germany.
amazing.
That's exciting.
Yeah, then 2 shows at EDC Vegas next
Wow.
week, and then
I want to come. Can I get VIP tickets and go in backstage?
Do you know what hardcore is?
No.
one day when I play in LA, you gotta come.
I am definitely coming. I mean, look.
Yeah, but we're
We have to
all
support
over.
them.
I've been to the shows. They're incredible.
Yeah, we're all over Switzerland. I think, and then right after that, it's Switzerland, Paris, and then I fly from Paris to Vietnam
Wow.
to play in Ho Chi Minh City.
And
so.
and how is it? So like when you go and are they screaming for you? Do they want to talk to you?
Oh yeah.
People love you.
Yeah, my fans are very
Hardcore.
Yeah, very hardcore.
What does that mean, please? Not everyone knows.
Okay, so yeah, you could.
I mean, just the genre.
It's a genre of music.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
did you like make that genre of music?
No. It's been around since the 90s.
It has, but it was never a huge thing, was it?
No. Well, in the late 90s, hardcore was very big.
And who found or
the
trademarked
Dutch started it.
Okay.
It started in the Netherlands. It's probably the biggest young person cultural movement to ever come out of the Netherlands.
So are the Dutch really a big followers of you?
Yeah, I definitely have a big fan base there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be in Holland a bunch of times this summer. My booking agency for Europe, at least, is based out of Holland.
Okay.
And there was a scene in the States, and there still is a scene. There's always been a scene, but it's gone through different sort of phases, and
Right.
it's gotten big and gotten small, gotten underground. But in the late '90s, it was certainly big in New York and LA.
Wow.
And so now it has evolved and it's spread out into a myriad of subgenres between hard styles. So it's really just how fast it is.
Yeah.
So I'm leaning into the really fast paced 200 BPM stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's hard style, which is a lot slower, 150 to 160. And so there's a whole myriad of
Who
experiences.
motivates you? Do you have somebody that motivates you? A coach?
No, not really. I don't have a coach, but there are people who I look up to.
Like?
Well, I really I listen to a lot of podcasts, and so
I love that.
So I'm very interested in people who are first of all intelligent, but
Yeah.
mostly people who are very into what they're doing.
Right.
So
Because it doesn't matter what you're doing, but if you're super passionate about it, that's the most important thing.
And that's
right?
yeah, exactly. And that's really I can kind of take away something from everybody. So I've been really on Lex Friedman's podcast lately, and he has everybody from Rogan to Sam Harris to astrophysicists
Wow.
to Grimes was just on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so anybody who's really passionate about what they're doing and oftentimes successful with that. So I always. My thing is I always go to the people who know what they're doing and have gotten results.
Yeah.
And so then I can do what they do. So, I got really into bodybuilding and I was like, okay, I want to look, crazy.
Are you
so
not doing that anymore?
Oh yeah.
are.
Even more so probably. And so I had a fan who was a pro bodybuilder. And so I just became friends with him. And now
Was he
he's
so excited when you called him?
Oh, he was so stoked.
He probably was telling all his friends, "You're not going to believe who just called me."
So I became really close with him, and so now I've gotten, to know a lot of pro bodybuilders, and it's okay, if I want to look insane, I should probably go to the source
Yeah.
and figure out how to look insane. And this
Yeah.
guy told me what to do, and then I did those things literally like he told me,
Yeah.
and I got results that I had not
That's
gotten
incredible.
before.
Well, you're saying something that's really profound. Like, you're always on the straight and narrow. You don't seem to veer. You're not a cheater. You're not you don't edge down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It seems like when you decide something, like my son, you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
So you didn't always do hardcore, right? What was
No.
And you went to Berkeley?
Yeah, I have a crazy evolution through music. I was
So how did you get to where you are in music? Because hardcore is not.
yeah,
I don't think
that's
they
the
teach
That
at
wasn't at Berkeley.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's probably the biggest conundrum actually that
Yeah.
kind of still kind of baffles me that I ended up here doing what I'm doing. And if I really look closely, it does make sense. But yeah, it started with punk rock, and then I got really into playing bass. And so getting proficient at my instrument became a thing. I got really into jazz, and I got really into
Oh, that's cool.
I was sort of into jam bands and funk and R&B. I really wanted to be good at my instrument. And so
Right.
I went to the place, like I said before, I went to the place where people were really good at their instruments. And
Right.
usually that's in jazz and funk and R&B, these guys who really know music, classical music too. And so I ended up going to Berkeley, and I was going to, do jazz and stuff like that. And I did it for a while, and I did pretty well. And I was, doing studio work, and that's what I did for a long time. And I just got kind of sick of being a sideman, and the EDM thing kind of blew up in the late 2010s, or late 2000s, early 2010s. It's so weird saying that.
Yeah, I know,
It's like
right?
I don't know.
crazy.
It's like time flies.
I know, it really does.
Fucking flies.
And so I was doing that, and I was doing like, trap and future bass, and I was kind of all over the place, and the lesson I learned sort of was hyper focus into one thing.
Right.
At least yields better results.
Yeah.
And while that's a really difficult concept for people, though.
Right.
Yeah.
"Oh,
Definitely.
what's my passion? I don't know what I'm passionate about.
That's
Well,
so
you
true.
didn't know when you started, you were trying to find your way. But what happens is people stop when they're here. They're trying to find their way, and they get frustrated, and then they just completely forget what they're doing instead of keep going.
Well, yeah, and so it took me sort of putting stuff down. It's one of those, like paradoxes, it's like let it go and you'll get it kind of concepts.
Yeah, but that's true. It works.
Yeah, and so I put
Let
music.
it go and
Yeah, it's a sign.
Yeah,
boy.
exactly. And so I let music go, and I actually was doing a day job, and I actually like focused.
What day job?
I was in sales. I was a
Selling.
phone salesman. I sold.
get out of here.
Yes.
I would die if you walked in to sell me a phone.
Well, it was on the phone, so nobody knew what I looked like, and I have a
Okay.
good white person voice.
Yeah, you have a perfect voice.
Yeah.
So I actually, it's really interesting. I let it all go, and I was like, I'm going to be normal, and I did that. And
How long?
3.5 years. I
Wow,
think.
really?
Really?
Yeah, 3.5
Well, that
years.
probably taught you a lot
Yeah, I know it's
because
like
you weren't in your passion.
no, and I was making music a little bit, but I wasn't like focused on it.
Yeah.
And one thing led, and I was doing little shows here and there, and one thing led to the next, and I was listening to a lot of hardcore. I was listening to a lot of fast-paced music in the gym, and just I kind of returned to my early childhood. I returned back to sort of the aggression and the like hard music, which I love. And I just started making it, and it clicked. It worked.
Wow.
Right place at the right time, honestly.
That's amazing.
Do you remember the first time you made your first hardcore song?
Yeah, I do actually. And it ended up being like a big one. I think it was
Which
really.
one was it?
It's called "I Am Excited," and I put it out, and like within a couple weeks, I think the branding was just so different, and the fact that I made a song at 200 BPM at that time, it wasn't like weird in Europe to do that, but in the States,
Yeah.
within
100%.
EDM, it was definitely like, what?
Yeah.
And aren't you working on a record right now? Or
Yeah, new album out June.
When?
June.
Now, do you do a launch party that I'm invited to or anything?
Maybe. I don't
Sounds like a
know.
Party.
I don't know, but yeah, new record in June. We're dropping some singles before then. I just did one last Friday, and
How did it go?
good.
Amazing.
Yeah, so
So, for people that are listening, so if they wanted to get into music and get into this world, how would they do it?
I mean, if you're gonna get into electronic music, first of all, you probably need a computer, and you need a DAW. So, get yourself Ableton or FL Studio or
Yeah,
whatever
what do you
you
edit
like.
on?
Ableton Live.
Ableton.
It's just what I've used, but they're all good. You know, as long as you learn your program, you can execute anything with
And
any
you don't
program.
you're proficient in bass, you said?
Yeah.
So was that a huge translation into like the hardcore music you make now?
Not really, but like I know music really well and I know form really well. So when I hear
But that all
something,
helps.
yeah, I can pick things out very quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
That I'm like, okay, this is in G, like it's
Right.
these notes, and I can pick it out, and I can hear structurally and rhythmically like what music is. It's sort of like a language. There's like
Right.
syntax to
Yeah.
it, and so somebody can play me something, and I can be like, oh, it's just this fill at this bar, and there's this note or this kind of sound here, and then it goes, and I can pick it out really quickly.
Really?
Yeah,
That's it's like when I'm staging a home, I can tell, like, why is that not touching the wall? Like,
Yeah, you
everything,
see
I'm
it.
so visual. And I haven't staged in a while, but then when I was doing my house this weekend, I was like, nope. It just is like,
well, yeah, and I'm sure through repetition,
Right.
you can see the nuances that
Right.
somebody who has not
yes.
been in it
Oh,
Right.
yes.
can see.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know?
100%.
And that's the beauty of picking one thing and doing it well.
Exactly, because you become the expert.
Exactly. And you see these subtleties
Right.
that you're just never going to see if you haven't done it for your 10,000 hours.
So I want to hear some crazy stories. Tell me some crazy fan stories.
Top favorite.
Oh God, there's so many. There's so many just wild things that have happened. Like, there's a girl in Germany. She got my name just blasted across her chest.
On her body?
Yeah.
No way.
That's not anything new, though, is it?
No, that's not that new. But I see her periodically when I'm over there, and I'm like, wow, dedication.
Now, I don't know if you're in a relationship or not. You don't have to answer this, but is it hard to meet women?
No.
I feel like it would be easier,
No,
right?
I mean that you want to have a relationship with.
Yeah, it is.
Not that the other thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in a relationship, and I have been for a long time, over a year
I didn't
now.
know that.
Yeah, and it actually is.
So that's great. So and she understands this world of yours, and she's super.
Yeah,
supportive.
she's into she's into raving and EDM.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And so we have different tastes. I mean, she's obviously gotten into hardcore because of me, but she has quite different tastes than me with that, and having support in that way and trying to be
It's 100%.
Yeah, because it's really easy for people who travel and tour to get on the grass is greener, avoidant attachment type stuff.
Exactly.
And I definitely was there. I went from having a kind of anxious attachment type, being sort of scared that people were going to leave me, to being well, yeah, but maybe I just haven't found the right one. The perfect girl exists.
Right.
And that's such a fallacy. The perfect person does not exist. And so with sticking with one thing, I think that's sort of a contrary action type thing. And I've been in this relationship for a while, and it's gone very, very well.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So when's the wedding?
I don't know. I don't know about all that. But, it's good, and I'm happy that...
That's
Aw,
incredible.
I'm so
And
happy
that
for you.
also
Thank
makes you... It helps because besides work, we need to have our own personal life. And that's when we cross and we only do one thing and we don't have that, that's when things start to happen as well. So it's really great that you've mastered that. That's amazing.
Well, everything's a learning.
Master.
Everything's a learning thing. But,
You're trying.
Yeah.
What's the next thing for you?
Well, go to Germany. 2 big shows in Germany, playing this legendary club called Boat's House, which is absolutely crazy. And then EDC is always a big time.
EDC is huge.
Yeah,
Exciting.
EDC is a big thing every single year. I always train really hard and diet and get as in best shape as I possibly can. I sort of treat it like a bodybuilding competition.
Oh, fun.
So some of my bodybuilding friends are actually competing. They're going to get on the stage and do that whole thing. And so I don't want to do that, but we all train together and we all are dieting together and getting as absolutely shredded as we can.
That's
to
incredible.
motivate each other.
That's amazing.
So we do a big meet and greet. We do merch, and then it's Europe this summer. Doing a bunch of big festivals there before I come back.
How fun.
And, yeah, touring all fall. Wow. I was just on tour and it's over now technically.
How long was your tour for?
January, early January to now.
Wow.
Wow,
That's a long time.
and that's so how do you keep yourself,
Is it weird when you have time off?
Yeah, it was weird. I had a weekend off last weekend and it was so weird, but it was really nice. I didn't
Yeah.
do anything but just read and work out and eat good food, and that's it.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah, it was very, very nice. I come back during the week and I immediately try to get back on the grind. So if I have to maybe stay up a little bit and not nap to feel really tired and wake up at 9 the next day or 8:30, to get back on the thing after I'm jet lagged, I'll do that. And really it's sleep.
Right.
But I don't party. So people are always like, "Oh, you must be so tired all the time." And I'm like,
You don't party at all anymore?
But how do you when
well, I don't, party. I don't do drugs.
you're not
still
well, that's helpful.
Yeah.
You're going all over the world. So do you Zoom meetings for your program, or do you go in person in other states? I mean, other countries.
What I treat my recovery is sort of a
This is a good point.
Yeah. Because I've got over 8 years now.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like the loose jacket analogy. I don't know if you've heard that, where you just kind of you put on the jacket every morning.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's so not about the quantity. It's really about the quality.
Yeah.
And I sort of treat it like how do I describe this? Like sort of like a NASCAR pit stop. That it's like I have my team, right? And like those guys, dude, they have to pull off the track. If they don't pull off the track, the wheels like explode and they die. You know, you have to come off the track, and the best guy has the best team. And so they, you know, put the new wheels on, and he's back out there. And so I treat my recovery like that. I have my things that I go back to, and I get what I need to, so I can go back out on the track.
Right.
You know, and I've had I mean, if we are like talking about, you know, that. Which it's sort of like breaking the tradition, right? We're not really supposed to talk about it, are we? Publicly?
You can talk about
Or do you guys, you know,
we do about program. You don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
No, it's
I don't
okay.
mind talking about it. I've always
We
kind of
talk about it, but that you don't have to. But I'm saying, you know, a lot of celebrities are sober. A lot of them have come on here, and it's like everyone has a different program. There's all kinds of different programs
Yeah.
out there.
Doesn't matter what
like
program.
my hairdresser does some Hindu program I never even heard of. But it's really about like
More about, like, the
taking
tools,
care
I
of
would say.
ourselves.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Like, I mean,
would say-
because you're really in the thick of it. So, and you're right. You know, that analogy about the race car is freaking amazing. So what you're saying is you have amazing people around you that you work with.
Totally.
And that's actually really important, listeners, because no matter what your issue is, no matter what you're doing, if you have an amazing group of people, which I do, thank God, that keep you,
Grounded.
straight and grounded and grateful and, really grateful, then you'll want to make yourself a better person, whatever it is.
Yeah. I mean, there's, obviously there's, I went to a place and there was people there who told me what to do, and I did those things that those people told me to do.
Yeah.
And
Right.
now I get to be one of those people that offers that guidance to newer guys.
That's amazing.
It's
That's
all it
incredible.
is.
That's actually been the most rewarding
Well,
thing.
that's with anything like you're doing. So,
Yeah.
there's so many different avenues.
And just
But
doing it hardcore, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Everything.
Hardcore is your
Hardcore everything.
For everything.
Exactly.
Why not? You got to do things with
Yeah.
intent.
Yeah, no, I
Everything
love that.
with intent.
So what made you decide to come on The Power of We? Not to put you on the spot or anything.
I love y'all. Y'all are cool. Y'all are my my faves. And yeah, it's just really cool, Nicole. It is really cool to see you now.
Thank you. Yeah, you saw me when I was like down and bad.
Yeah, I remember you. Coming in.
Yeah.
And like to see that now, that's what's cool.
Yeah.
And that's really cool.
I'm gonna cry.
Oh no.
But you had a huge part in just like, how we talk about, I mean, just like having some like different people you look up to in that world of sobriety, just to see like what it looks like and how you can actually succeed and do things you love and still live your life and have fun and be sober. And you showed me that at the beginning, and that was great. So thank you.
No, thank you. Seriously.
And you helped me with my homework, so that was very helpful.
Yes, we always hear about
Oh
how
my
you
God, I
helped them with
forgot
You don't remember
about
my
that.
philosophy paper we wrote?
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
It's so it's so funny looking back on that.
You loved
because,
that.
Yeah, I really did. I
was
really
like,
enjoyed.
Why? I hate school.
Oh, because
Well,
it was
even everything
so
you were saying
interesting.
in the podcast just now with like the ego and all
Yeah.
that,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like my brain was like, that's from the paper we wrote.
Yeah, it was just super interesting. And
crazy.
Yeah.
those concepts actually that were discussed in that paper we wrote have like appeared over and over and over again in the like philosophy and psychology that I've studied.
Yeah.
I'm a huge reader. I like really, really, really love like the mind and consciousness and like learning.
Yeah.
I'm just really obsessed with learning.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
What's
And
your
it's
favorite?
it's interesting now how much it's come out in my like recovery stuff. Like when I'm
Really?
speaking about recovery to people,
No, it's easier, right?
yeah, and it's listen, I get a lot of different types of guys, and a
course.
lot of different types of people who need to get sober.
Right.
And so I think for me being as well equipped with all of the different types of philosophy and psychology gives me a better shot at being able to like, speak to people
Yeah.
and to connect with them, especially if they're really hard-headed or
Right.
maybe spiritual concepts are a little tough for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or their egos involved.
Yeah, or the ego's involved.
Yeah, that's
And
really a tough one.
yeah, and so it's been cool. It's been cool to. I've been on like a little bit of a quest to sort of like rationally prove spirituality. You know?
Well, I think it's fucking amazing that
Yeah.
you're like this badass guy. No, I'm not joking. I remember
like every
we were
side
in
of the puzzle.
Vegas and she brought you to the table and I was like, oh my God, what
This
is
is my
going on? And
friend.
what did I do? I grilled you and you were so smart. You were on top of your game. You were full of class. And I thought, wow, that's really, really amazing. But now you like empower so many people. I mean, you should be so freaking proud of
Oh,
yourself.
thank you.
Honestly, be proud of yourself because I'm proud of you. And like,
mean, yeah.
we talk about you. We're like, wow, look at him. He's going and he's not even going and doing what he's passionate about, but he is making a difference in this world
Yeah.
for people out there, our listeners. They're different. They don't want to do the mainstream. They don't want to do pop or whatever else. They want to do maybe what you're doing. And like, you're giving them a platform to say, fuck yeah, I can do this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you can
You know?
just, I think the huge thing also is like just being who you are, you know? Like you're
Totally.
not afraid to like just be who you are. And like a lot of people, you know, struggle with that and like finding their identity, and you're so open with that. And I think that's huge as well.
Yeah, you know, the self is a garden, you know? I think that whether or not the self is real is a different story that I don't want to talk about right now. But nonetheless, we are certainly, there is certainly a Sam inside my head. And like there is I think there's really something to like building yourself up as a garden.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, what are you planting in there and how can you make yourself the best version?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
simply put,
So true.
Amen to that.
you know?
Amen to
And that's
that.
why reading and everything is so important.
Yeah, you got to do all of it.
Yeah.
At least for me, I want to be the like most vibrant I can possibly be.
Right.
You know?
And that's huge.
So if
Makes
you
me
had
happy.
any words for our listeners, what would they be?
Live your truth and be yourself, you know, and don't be afraid to do what you want and pick something for the love of God.
Amen to that.
Pick something. Stop
Little
being
Texas,
wishy-washy.
you are listening to Little Texas. He is wise. I mean, unbelievable. You are such an incredible soul.
Thank you. Your passion is not going to hit you over the head one day. That is such a fallacy.
Yeah.
God,
you,
it's
you
unbelievable.
gotta work for it, right?
I'll just know. One day I'll know what I want to do. No, you won't. You
be
have
90.
to try and
That's
figure
true.
some stuff out.
No,
Yeah.
you won't.
Yeah.
But when you're in it, you do. Like
Yeah.
Nicole.
Like, work your fucking
she
ass
never
off.
I never said, oh, you're going to come work here. She wanted to come work here. And then she's kicked ass.
No, that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say too. That's why I like y'all, because you'll work hard. Y'all
Yeah.
are
I mean,
y'all
you
are
saw me
you're
before I
girl
was working.
bosses.
Yes.
Yeah, girl bosses.
You guys are girl bosses.
Yes,
for real.
and she's really kicked ass. I mean, you
Yeah.
brought up that fact of when, you first met her and, like, Nicole's changed so much. And she has, I remember, like, her talking about you, but she met certain people that has really changed her way of thinking and
Yeah.
changed her. Because growing up in Calabasas, it was very, what do you want to say, like
Closed off.
closed
tight-knit.
off.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so when she opened this world, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
And sometimes, having kids and you would think, oh, I want to protect them. I don't think that's the way, because when you open the world, there's so many great people. There's so many different countries. There's so much out there in this life. And it's like, that's what's going to teach us. It's about the world, not just about one place or one
Yeah.
thing or
And
whatever.
just being open-minded. I feel like
Yeah.
that's something that I learned, and like just being open-minded to learning about new things and just being open to anyone like in the world.
Oh,
and
it's
you'll-
so important.
Like you said, you can take anything from anyone. Like you don't have to necessarily be like everything you said is right, but like in our podcast today, I'm sure you don't agree with some things, you agree with a lot of things or whatever it is, but there's something, if you focus on the positivity, there's something you could take from everyone.
Live above the line. My
Well,
coach
yeah,
says.
yeah. It's about differentiation. You have to
Right.
You got to make yourself more complex.
Right.
Right.
And the way to do that is through what you said, experiences.
Right.
Going out and trying new things,
Yeah.
going out and seeing and going out and soaking it all in,
Yeah.
and then deciding what you think is right and wrong,
Yeah.
or good and bad.
Yeah, and you probably take really good things from other people as well.
Oh, absolutely, all the
Yeah.
time. I'm always learning.
Yeah, and it's funny because, people always say, you're such a big personality, no one can ever forget you. But I say that about you. I never forgot Lil Texas.
Maybe
Hey.
it's the Sam's.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yay.
Yeah. No, we're so grateful you came
We are
on. And
so
so
grateful.
good to see you.
Likewise.
You're killing it.
No,
And
so are
make
you.
sure you invite us to backstage
Yeah,
in
next
a private
time.
area for me, though.
Next time I'm in LA, which
She'll
will
need to
be
be out of the
soon,
crowd.
Yeah.
we'll do it.
Yeah.
Come through.
So,
wait, when's your next show in LA? Do you know yet?
I just did the Observatory.
Oh, you did?
Like 2 weeks ago.
That's
in Orange
incredible.
County. Yeah, sold it out. With big deal.
Wow.
It was good for me. Big step in my career.
Yeah,
and,
huge. How did that feel?
It was really cool
how
because
many people?
1,200
Wow.
tickets.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's a hard ticket room, so there's
Yeah.
like, Exchange and Academy are soft, where like you sell most of the tickets, it's going to sell out because it's kind of bottle service and people just show up. Observatory is like straight up 1,200 tickets.
That's it.
There you go. Sell them or don't. And so we did. And so now we're, working on towards the next thing. I think Palladium is like my next big goal, but that's a huge jump from where I'm at right now.
Wow.
Okay.
So it's 3,000 plus tickets.
Oh, you can do it.
What do you
Yeah.
mean? You're doing it for sure. And I'm going to be on the sidelines in my private box.
But next time, if I do, there might be something soon in LA. We
Yeah.
don't know yet. But next
Yeah, I'm
time,
sure that
I'll
you
definitely
will.
invite you.
And oh my God, great. I'm excited for you to go to Europe. That's
Yeah.
that's my happy place.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's the best.
You're going to have the best time.
Oh, yeah.
So how do listeners look at you, find you, get a hold of you?
Pretty much at Lil Texas everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Lil Texas Hardcore. You'll find me. And Spotify, likewise, Lil
And
Texas.
if people have questions for you, are you open to talking to them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's pretty hard these days with my messages being so flooded.
I'm sure.
But I'm always like responding in comments and stuff. So if you
Yeah.
comment or if you tweet at me, Twitter actually now, if you mention
Okay.
me, is actually a pretty good way to like communicate with me. Or like in the comments of my posts. It's just really hard to manage my direct messages, which I used to be able to. But
Yeah, you
but,
used to respond to everyone.
but yeah, now I can't. I can't anymore. It's just too
I know.
hectic.
But that's
so.
incredible.
It's
Yeah,
good.
it's a good
It's
problem.
good
So proud
to
of
be
yourself.
you.
Good problem to have.
Yeah.
I try to get as much as I can, but
Yeah.
it's it's tough.
That's incredible.
Well, how can people buy tickets to your next show?
There really isn't anything booked too much, but you can always go on my, on my pages, and there's like a link to all the stuff. So new singles, the link tree or whatever has got the new singles, it's got everything. And if you follow me on the socials, you will certainly see where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm posting content constantly.
And then
so.
when does your album come out?
It's sometime in June. Yeah, sometime in June. So gotta
Stay tuned.
yeah, Dorian
we
Electra
will
remix
put it
this
out
week.
too. I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
That is so cool. Thank you,
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
No,
Lil
thank you for having me.
Texas.
This
was amazing.
Great way to
It was
start my
like a
day.
reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah, great way
I
to start my
love
day.
it. Yes, I know.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Cool.